Hello there, Woven Web enthusiasts. Today I have my favorite story to date for the channel, and it comes to us from the Ohio Court of Appeals. A story here of love triangles, centered around a church no less, that if this story came from Reddit, we would toss it aside as fake. It's Dipietro versus Lighthouse Ministries in Franklin County, Ohio. At the heart of the story is one senior pastor, Troy Irvin. He's married to the daughter of the assistant pastor of the church. Pastor Irvin sleeps with a married woman, Tracy Dipietro, the plaintiff in this case, and finally it comes out that the good and God-fearing pastor had yet another affair that triangulates. That's right, Mr. Irvin gets around. Now, this is an appeals court ruling in which the plaintiff, Tracy, seeks to overturn a lower court decision that awarded the defendant, the church, summary judgment, which essentially meant her lawsuit was thrown out. The facts of the case are, in May 2001, plaintiff and her then-husband, Tony Dipietro, attended a revival church meeting where Pastor Troy Irvin was speaking. Irvin invited the couple to attend services at Lighthouse Ministries, where he was the senior pastor and regularly preached. The plaintiff soon began attending services at the church on a regular basis. At around that same time, plaintiff was experiencing problems in her marriage. Plaintiff confided in Irvin about her marital problems. As senior pastor, Irvin provided plaintiff with spiritual counseling to help with her problems. Plaintiff and Irvin had approximately 4 such counseling sessions, which took place in his office at the church. Plaintiff also spoke to Irvin while attending church. Sometime in early July 2001, plaintiff and Irvin met in a park where they shared a kiss. Soon after that kiss, Irvin called plaintiff at her home and invited her to his apartment. Plaintiff initially said no because of Irvin's wife. Then Irvin explained that his wife wasn't at home. She was studying for the bar exam. Plaintiff and Irvin arranged to meet in the parking lot at the Tuttle Mall so that plaintiff could follow Irvin back to his apartment, which she did. There, the couple engaged in consensual sexual intercourse. In August 2001, Irvin resigned from his position as senior pastor at the church. Irvin told the congregation that he and his wife were having marital problems and cited his forthcoming divorce as the impetus for his resignation. Irvin's wife was the daughter of Pastor Herschel Hawley, who was junior to Irvin at the church. After Irvin resigned, Pastor Hawley became the senior pastor. And to break here a moment, I'm going to continue to read as the court writes this out, and later I'm going to give you a list of all the characters involved so you can keep it straight. In late October 2001, Pastor Hawley learned that Irvin had had extramarital affairs. Rod Sanders, who was then married to Kelly Sanders and is now married to the plaintiff, contacted Pastor Hawley's daughter, told her that Irvin had had an affair with Kelly Sanders, as well as with another woman whom he did not name. Pastor Hawley's daughter confided in her mother, Mary Hawley, who then told her husband, Pastor Hawley, of Irvin's affairs. Pastor Hawley contacted Sanders and told him that he needed to know what was going on and requested that Sanders disclose the parties involved. Sanders spoke with plaintiff about Pastor Hawley's request, and the plaintiff herself went to Pastor Hawley and told him that she had had an affair with Irvin. And to break in here, plaintiff is telling Pastor Hawley that she had an affair with Pastor Hawley's son-in-law. Back to the case. Both plaintiff and Pastor Hawley testified that this was the first time that Pastor Hawley knew of Irvin's affair with the plaintiff. It was also during this time that plaintiff and Sanders began a romantic relationship. So now we're going to break this down. Tracy Dipietro is the plaintiff. She was first married to Tony Dipietro, then she had an affair with Pastor Irvin. And at the time of the lawsuit, she's now married to Rod Sanders. Pastor Troy Irvin, he was the head of the church and was married to the daughter of Pastor Herschel Hawley. He had an affair with the plaintiff, Tracy Dipietro, while he was supposed to be counseling her. Also, he had an affair with Kelly Sanders while she was married to Rod Sanders. Rod Sanders was married to Kelly Sanders, who had an affair with Pastor Troy Irvin. At the time of this lawsuit, Rod is married to Tracy Dipietro, the plaintiff in this lawsuit. Kelly Sanders, she was married to Rod Sanders, and she had an affair with Pastor Troy Irvin. Pastor Herschel Hawley, he was the assistant pastor, and his daughter was married to then senior pastor Troy Irvin. When Irvin resigned, Herschel Hawley became the senior pastor. And finally, the ex-wife of Troy Irvin, who is the daughter of Herschel Hawley. And now back to the court story. Within 30 minutes of learning about Irvin's affair with the plaintiff, Pastor Hawley called his direct supervisor, the denomination's district superintendent, and apprised him of the situation. One of the actions taken by the denomination was to immediately discontinue Irvin's severance package. In addition, the denomination revoked Irving's ordination and sent a letter to all licensed ministers associated with the denomination stating that Irving should not be permitted to conduct church services. In November 2001, the church's congregation was also informed of the situation that had come to light, but plaintiff's name was not mentioned. Plaintiff continued to attend services at the church until December 2001 when she had a confrontation with Mary Hawley, the wife of Pastor Herschel Hawley. On that particular Sunday, plaintiff and her mother were praying at the altar. Mary Hawley joined them, and a confrontation ensued, although what was actually said is in dispute. The plaintiff states that Mary Hawley called her a liar and told her that she should break up with Sanders since both she and Sanders were still married to other people, and that she was never to marry again because of the adulterous affair she had with Irving. Mary Hawley also suggested the plaintiff seek spiritual guidance from Pastor Hawley. In June 2002, plaintiff filed the action against defendants and Irving, alleging that defendants had been negligent in their hiring, supervision, and retention of Irving because they knew or should have known that he would take sexual advantage of female members of the church. Plaintiff also claimed that as a result of Irving's conduct, she suffered severe and debilitating emotional distress, embarrassment, mental anguish, stress, and loss of reputation. The defendants moved for summary judgment, which was granted. And here in this ruling, we conclude that there is no genuine issue of material fact and that the defendants are entitled to judgment as a matter of law. Accordingly, the judgment of the Franklin County Court of Common Pleas is affirmed. And as for me here at Woven Webs, rarely do I tire of reading stories of the hypocrisy of those that cling to organized religion as mere cover, of those that claim to be of superior moral cloth. But what are your thoughts? Tell us what you think in the comments, and I appreciate you listening. If you're enjoying the channel, please make sure to subscribe.